Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan medal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the TEQ free-to-play Bio-Broly unit and just how good he is in DBZ Dokkan medal at 100% in the hidden potential system. Now TEQ Bio-Broly is a free-to-play unit, very similar to the LR, but a little bit different in nature, which I think is good in some ways. I think, look, they're both very similar. They have damage reduction being their primary, functionality. They obviously gain damage reduction. They lose damage reduction. It's a very interesting kind of philosophy they've gone with the Bio-Broly characters. But for me, looking at obviously Broly himself, I think the way this Broly's damage reduction works is very different to how Bio-Broly's works. Bio-Broly should always, at any point in time after Super, have 60%. This Broly is very different. So he has Ki +8, attack and defense of 102%, damage reduction is 60%. He gets Ki -2, no more than -6, and damage reduction rate -20%, no more than 60% with every 2 turns passed. So by the 6th turn, he's basically out of damage reduction. He will then receive another 30% damage reduction when facing only one enemy. He performs a guaranteed critical hit when facing 2 or more enemies. He gets an additional 180% attack and defense when performing a super attack. He recovers 10% HP and gets an additional attack of 100% at the start of the turn, starting from the character's next attacking turn after receiving an attack. And then he has an additional 100% attack and defense and an additional damage reduction of 40% starting from the 10th turn from his entry turn. So he starts out with 90% damage reduction against singular enemies. He then slowly goes down to 80%, 60%, 40%, and then obviously, 70%, 50%, and then 30% when facing a singular enemy. Then he has one turn where he just sits at 30%, and then he shoots all the way back up to 70%. So it's kind of weird in the sense that, like, he intrinsically gets weaker and then all of a sudden becomes stronger. So it's a very strange design. I think it's interesting though. Like, obviously, it's very, very cool in a sense that, yes, basically he can be used right in the beginning of fights with very good damage reduction. 90% damage reduction means that essentially Broly can handle a lot of events that are strong out the gate. Think of your Zamasu events, think of your Kid Buu events, even though they're Inter-type characters or strength-type characters or whatever. Thing is, Broly's going to be able to handle it more than fine. So he's really great that first turn. Even that second turn, pretty powerful. And then it kind of starts to go downhill from there. The baseline 30% is really nothing crazy. You probably want to hide him during these phases, kind of push him off rotation, hide him where possible, and then you should be pretty good to go. Realistically, aside from that, generally speaking, you're going to want to look at potentially just floating him in general. So like tanking first couple turns, then floating, and then kind of maybe tanking once he has the 70% damage reduction. But even then, it's not like enough just yet. And he does have lowering attack, which is useful in quite a few fights. So it's not like he doesn't have utility. He does have a certain amount of utility that is useful. I think overall though, for me at least, he is a solid, if not unspectacular unit. I think like the big issue with him is those turns where he has 30%, but I think he's going to be great in really short form content. I can think really short form content with like maybe an Icarus or a Whis or whatever it is being active. I think then you're going to see like, okay, wow, this guy's going to tank excellently, or even without, like he's going to tank really well. He can soak up all this damage. He's going to be really, really good. And then like here you can see where everything kicks back in. He's going to tank great. So you can see here, tanking Goku, yes, it's AGL type, etc., etc. But really, really solid, very impressive. very good unit, and I think like that's really good from him. That's it, like 10th turn onwards, he goes back to being really solid. Yeah, obviously situationally, like he only really wants to face, you know, like other units in that, but remember that was without his on super defense as well, so very, very, very strong. Now in terms of links, this is where Broly falls down a little bit. Super Saiyan, Saiyan Lineage, Berserker is actually not too bad and means he can pair up decently with a bunch of Broly units, but then Revival, Nightmare, and Sharing the Limit just aren't there for him. They're not terrible, they're just not there. They're just not top of the pile for him. They're not, you know, links that he really should focus on getting. And so they're just kind of there, doing a good workload, but then that's really about it overall. But yeah, honestly, that's really about it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of Bio-Broly. How good is he? How good do you think he is overall? You know, what does he bring to the table? Are you planning on using him? And yeah, let me know what you think. But that's it from me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, bye.